What's up, NEC? Welcome to Proverbs Chapter 10. Man, Chapter 10 is loaded with great stuff. There's so many practical pieces of advice in Chapter 10 about how to live your life. But man, there was something that had flashing lights by it that just grabbed my attention. So I want to point it out to you. It's in Proverbs Chapter 10, verse 17. It says, "Whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life, but whoever ignores correction leads others astray." And so when I read that, the first thing I thought about is after the flood that we had a couple years ago. I don't know, I'm sure most of you remember that, but remember how often you would take a turn or use a road that you'd used before and there was a sign up that said road closed, the bridge was out. We've still got roads closed out here where the bridge is out. And man, that was very frustrating. I remember my wife and I were in the upstate that weekend and we couldn't get back home because the interstate was closed because they were worried about the bridge going out. And that was super frustrating. But the reality is, even though I was angry that I couldn't use the road, I was thankful for the sign because in some cases it saved me from a crash. Literally could have lost our life if we would have gone over a bridge that was out. And so the same thing is true in our life. Occasionally, we're going to come across signs where the road is closed, and we need to take heed of that. That's what this verse means when it says, "Whoever heeds discipline shows the way to life." We've got to have voices in our life that are able to discipline us. So that looks like God's voice that comes through the Bible, and that looks like other people's voice that comes through community. And let me say this is a little bit of a warning. If we don't occasionally hear, "This path is closed, don't take this path," we may be headed for a crash because we're not listening or looking for the sign. And, it talks about in the second part of that voice that if we ignore correction, if we ignore that sign, we're leading others astray. So that means not only is our life headed for a crash if we don't have the proper discipline, but everybody that we care about is coming with us. If you look just in the news or in popular culture, when someone makes a big bad decision, it's usually a long time played out where that person again and again was warned by other people, was warned by the Bible. If they're a Christian and they read scripture, this is not the right way. Don't head this way. And then a crash happened. And guess what? Everybody around them was damaged from that. So I just want to encourage you today. Do you allow yourself to be disciplined? Two ways that can happen. Read the Bible, and when it says something about how you should live your life, how you should spend your life, and it doesn't line up with what you're currently doing, change roads, change paths. Don't keep going because you're headed for a crash. And then the second way that you can do that, man, get into community. Have some people in your life that you trust that can speak into your life and say, "I don't think that's a good idea." And I promise you, it may be uncomfortable and it may be frustrating, but not as uncomfortable as a wreck. Not as uncomfortable as losing your life. And so we all need that discipline in our life that helps us find the correct path, the safe path. And I hope you have that. If you don't have that, make a change to get that today. Make that change to read scripture on a regular basis and let it discipline you. Let it change the way that you do things. Make the decision to get into community and have somebody that's able to say, "Hey man, that's not cool. Don't do that. Don't head that way. That's not going to work out." I love you guys. I'm thankful for the way that you've chosen to pursue wisdom through the book of Proverbs. I'm excited to continue this. I'll see you all on Monday as we continue our video Devo in Proverbs.